Welcome back, Dodecadorks. We're the 12-sided guys.
Welcome back, Paul.
Woo!
Yeah, welcome back, Paul.
Woo!
Woo! Spring break. Well, we have Scott as Ornan.
At your service.
Sabrina as Sylvie.
Oh, hello.
Jordan as Magram.
You're most welcome.
Matt as Guy.
That is my name. Don't wear it out.
And me, Paul, as the guy who is just happy to be back. So, welcome back, Dodecadorks, and welcome back, me. So,
We already did that, Paul. Woo, yeah. You just
Yeah,
want us to
we-
woo you again?
Yeah, we already
Spring
welcomed you
break.
back.
well, you might be wondering what I did on my vacation. Well, one thing that I did was I told some new friends about this podcast. They started listening and they were so grateful that they actually told me that I was their new best friend. So if you want some new best friends, be like me and tell people about the 12-sided guys. Let's
I've
see.
heard it can even cause romance.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
is
Ooh.
also what I've heard,
It
yes.
does lead to romance.
I've noticed a 4.3% increase in my sex life after listening to the 12-sided guys.
Oh, my gosh.
There's no more need for the blue pill.
Well, let's see. What else did I do on my vacation? Well, I went shopping, and what better place to shop than at the 12-sided guys shop? Get that Dodecadoric drip, including the new I Am a Pahafma RU shirt. Let everyone know you're a person of high affinity for the magical arts.
Aptitude.
High aptitude?
Yeah. A person
Yes.
of high aptitude for the magical
Yeah,
arts.
it's aptitude.
Paul, you've only been gone for a little bit.
To be fair,
Paul's like, wait, what?
to be fair, I only remember hearing the actual acronym one time.
There's a tally of the acronyms. I think Chicken needs to reduce one on Paul's for that
Yeah,
I
mistake.
don't think
Yeah,
I
he
think that
does.
puts me at -1, honestly. Well, anyway, you can get the new I Am a Pahafma RU shirt. Let everyone know you're a person of high aptitude for the magical arts and find out if they are one as well. Anything else exciting from my vacation? Oh, yeah, I got my oil changed. And then when I was done, they asked me if I'd leave a review of their business, and I did. And it was quick and easy, and it really helped them out. Just like you could really help us out by leaving a review on your favorite podcasting app. Some of you have already left us a review, so here's a big shout out to a few of you. Erudition, Don Spagnolo. I can't do this next one. Hugh Sack. Dweezer. CC12345 CC123.
Ugh, love them.
Doodlecat 13. Cabazon 8. Fiscal Dave and CL Breddy.
Ooh,
For anyone-
Fiscal Dave.
God, I hope it's not Dave Ramsey. That guy.
Oh, yeah. If you Fiscal Dave,
Hey,
if you're
Dave.
Dave Ramsey, stop listening. Oh.
Unless you're going to donate us money.
But if you're just like some kind of CPA, tax season, huh?
Yeah. Well,
Tax season, am I right?
for anyone else that wants to leave a review, do it. I might just read your awkwardly niche username in a future podcast. Anyway, if your vacation ever consisted of drop kicking towers, then this podcast is for you. It's Chorus of the Forsaken, episode 33.
Is that a Rampage one?
No, a vacation. Where who went on vacation and started drop kicking towers and blowing them up and sweeping them away?
Donkey Kong.
Mario.
Super Mario World.
Yeah, pretty close.
I still think Rampage works.
He went to Dinosaur Island on vacation. Wasn't that the original? Wasn't that the original lore?
Maybe in the Mario cartoon that was so terrible that had that one rap I shared with you that one time that lives rent-free in my head still to this day.
Wait, we're the Mario Brothers.
No, it was the Cootie Pie rap by the singing
Oh.
Piranha
Oh,
Plants.
no. Yes, I know which one you're talking about.
It's so bad.
Oh no, I'm going to have to go back to look at that again. Oh my gosh. Well, welcome back to Via Severia we're not even in the Barony of Alaron anymore. We are traveling down the road with our heroes, Wilhelm Associates, Ornan, Sylvie, Magram, and Guy, as well as their new allies, Dainen, the Dwarven Druid. I like that alliteration. And Annelise, the cleric of Aona.
Skank cleric.
If you wanted alliteration, you could have said Annelise, the acolyte of Aona.
Or how about Annelise, the Anonan anime nun?
Oh my gosh.
It's canon. You said it in an episode.
Okay. And Annelise, the Aonan anime nun. Yes. As you are traveling down this road, let's see, the last thing that our listeners have heard is some campfire stories after 4 nights of travel. My personal favorite so far is Sprinkle, Sprinkle, Sprunkle. It was so good. Anyway.
That's shaman.
We are going to actually talk a little bit about all that went on during those 4 days of travel. As you have been traveling with your new allies, and especially Annelise, there is some unanswered questions and some tension in the air between her and the 4 of you. So, first question I have for all of you. As you are traveling down this road in the rain and in the dark, the first night I imagine as you leave Redlam, you travel for a few hours past some farms and off into the forest as you start to head south towards Mirloff, a couple of hours in the dark before you set up camp for the night. And we had our first campfire story. On that night, what is said to Annelise about you guys, your visions that you've all shared, about what you guys are doing? How clear are you being with her?
I think Mogram would defer to Guy a little bit as kind of being the one to run that relationship.
Yeah, Sylvie doesn't talk to cops.
Only Gardenia.
No, Gardenia's chill, yeah.
Yeah, she's totally crooked.
All right, Guy, on that very first night of travel, Annelise is at the campfire. You guys are telling a story. She is off by herself a little away. She's still around the fire, but she's not buddy-buddy with you. She's staying warm. She's listening. She's not...
She's an anime nun.
She's an anime nun. But
Need I say more?
What more needs to be said?
after the story is shared about the purge of the dead in the Loxania forest...
Necropurge.
The necropurge, yes. After that story is done and people start to take their turns at watch and get some sleep, Guy, Annelise comes over to you. She says, "So, is it Guy now? Is that what I'm to call you?"
Honestly, I don't even really remember what my real name is. I've had so many pseudonyms over the years.
That needs a deception check because you are 100%. You are painfully aware of what you're. And so are our listeners.
Okay, I'll do a deception check.
Yeah, but why don't you just finish your statement and then you can do a deception check.
All right. So I'll say we all have pasts in this group, and I think it's best if we broach topics little by little so that you can get to know us and see what we're about. Because some of our histories without context and without knowing the person behind the stories has the potential to not go over too well.
She nods at that. Make your deception check with advantage, actually.
That's a 21.
Okay, very good. She nods at that. It's not so much that you're lying to her. I think it's that you're convincing. Does that make sense? Your statement is very convincing.
I almost would have rather had a persuasion check because I don't think the saying I don't really remember my name. That was more of like a hyperbole, like kind of like say, hey, I've been through a few identities.
So then she says, okay, well, Guy, how much of what you told me was true? Like Ross Lacrosse? Is that a name you just came up with?
Well, yeah, Ross Lacrosse was a name that I chose to protect myself because, as you've already witnessed, I'm a Pahaftma, and going into the Temple of Aona is not the safest place for someone like me.
What else was a lie? What even is your real name? if we're going to
I
trust
just
each other,
told you I didn't remember.
I go by Guy now, but long ago my name was William.
she asks you one more question.
William.
But we're going to simmer on this one. I'm not sure how Guy would answer it. I'm going to let you think on this answer. She says, "Were you even ever attracted to me?"
I'll do
Guy,
the no.
Oh my God.
I want to rub my eyes and do a double take and go awooga, awooga.
That
All
works
right.
every time for me.
I don't do that.
I learn from the best.
You want to just let that sit, or do you want me to answer?
If you want to answer, you can.
Yes, I was attracted to you. I was very attracted to you in the library before I knew anything about you. And then the fact that your dreams were connected with my own made it all the more enticing to meet you in person. As far as what else was a lie, I don't really think there were very many other out-and-out lies. Just, I'll tell you this. I'll volunteer this freely. Before we even met you, we had intentions of making sure that girl Evelyn did not burn.
She nods at that, and then she... Okay, very good. I like that.
Yeah, because we're not pieces of
Maybe you guys talk a little bit more on that first night. Jeez. Oh my gosh. Maybe you guys talk a little bit more on that first night. And then the next day, travel starts again. As you are traveling along, we have, let's see.
I will say this, Paul. I've also been writing to Dilar every night.
Okay, very good. Yeah, on your first night that you write to Dilar, you get a response back, and he just says, "Being on a ship was fun for like a minute. Now it's just boring. Fetching food for an hour, then just stay out of the way."
Awesome. Oh, do you want me to respond?
No, I mean, you wrote to him first. That was his response to you. As you were traveling on this second day, or I guess the first full day of travel, we have, let's see, we have Sylvie riding Bloodsnoot, the corgi. I imagine that Bloodsnoot is a little different coloring than Pranciful. Pranciful's also like half or even smaller the size, because Bloodsnoot is technically a medium-sized creature to be big enough for Sylvie to ride. So you have like corgi, and you have like corgi that you doubled in MS Paint. So it's a little bit pixelated.
Yeah, I imagine it's...
Resolution is just a little fuzzy.
I was thinking kind of like a plushie.
Yeah,
Like
there
you
you
have
go.
a little
Very
plushie and a bigger plushie. Like at
Exactly.
the fair, you have the tiers.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's so funny. And we also have Ornan is riding along on Sadie, his kind of sheepdog mount. We have remember all these have barding on them. We have Guy riding on Duchess, this beautiful chestnut-colored horse, and we have Mogram sadly riding on Stormhoof the Thundermare, a beautiful cream-colored horse that sadly
fine.
is not
Yeah.
black.
I mean, it's fine. It's a horse. It does the job.
Cinnamon is carrying some bags, so whatever you guys don't have room for on your own horses or on your own person is being carried by Cinnamon, this large, like Clydesdale-esque horse with the hairy fetlocks. And then you also have your two companions. Annelise is riding on a horse. Her horse is black. Very, very like jet black with just a little bit of white right on the nose.
So jealous.
I think Mogram is jealous, but her horse does not have the barding. That does not have the chain barding like yours does. And then you have Dainen, this dwarven druid who is, she's nice enough. She's kind of, she's a straightforward talker, but the thing that I think is the most interesting right now is that her mount is a goat. And when I say a goat, I mean her mount is literally a goat, a medium-sized goat. She is this, stocky dwarf dressed in leather with like fur and feathers and very like one with nature as she rides along on this white goat with a little bell collar on and big old heavy udders hanging down.
We get goat milk every morning.
Can it be a screaming goat, though? Not like one of those, like, but like a...
Or one of the fainting goats.
Fainting goat. What you guys did notice is that, like, in the morning, like, she just lets the goat go. She doesn't, like, tie her up and just lets the goat go, and then she's there ready to go in the morning. You guys, I'm sure somebody asked, hey, what's up with the goat? And she says, she prefers to be called Butterscotch. And that's pretty much all she'll say about the goat. She's just riding this normal goat. Anyway, on the second day of travel, I need to know about conversation that goes on between the six of you. Basically, what I want to know is, does Annelise know that all of you have shared the same dream? Or does she only think that Guy has seen the dream?
And I will leave that to each one of you to share what you'd want to share with her.
I mean, I think at this point it makes the most sense if we all tell her. But Sylvie would want to kind of discuss that internally before just blurting it out.
Plug your ears, Annelise. We're trying to have a little conversation.
She casts silence on herself.
Hey, Butterscotch, can you scream right next to Annelise while we have this conversation?
Oh, but you do totally, like, when you guys wake up, Dainen is literally just drinking milk right from like squeezing it into her mouth in the morning for her breakfast.
Amazing.
So you guys do tell her then that you guys have all shared the dream. Okay, very good. I would imagine that as you guys are riding on the second day, maybe as you are setting up camp, Magram, Annelise comes wandering over to you. She looks at you as the fire is starting to crackle and the rain has kind of let up a little bit. You guys are still kind of in a drizzle, but it's not pouring down rain as you are moving through the forest, as you head down in altitude on your way towards Mirlov. You're following this river as well, so you're not too far from the river at any given point. Sometimes it's out of sight, but usually you are relatively close to the river. She looks over and she sees your face in the firelight, and you imagine she can see some of the scarring just glisten in the firelight as scar tissue is wont to do. And she asks you, how long has it been since you left the Krahanest?
He kind of squirms a little bit, I think, when she asks that. He doesn't necessarily look at her or make eye contact yet, but is just kind of staring into the fire. And maybe after a couple moments, like a few beats, he tells her, I left the organization a long time ago now. It was perhaps 15 years ago. Maybe less, maybe a little bit more. I witnessed things that I found deeply unsettling within the organization. A level of hypocrisy that I found quite disturbing. And I'm not naive. I do not expect perfection from any secular institution. But the flagrance with which they were engaging in the arts that they were purporting to try to control, yeah, it was quite unsettling. And the hurt that they caused people that were dear to me was not small. I had given so many years of my life to them, and after that I just couldn't do it any longer. So I broke free. I was dead to them for a long time. At least I tried to be.
She nods as you're talking. I want you to make an insight check for me.
Yes. 24.
Oh, 24. As you're talking and as you talk about how you saw things they were trying to control, you see her nod along, and without even having to ask, you are fairly certain that she understands how you feel because she feels the same way about the Order of Navorians, these spellcasters that use arcane magics to try to then use it against either people who are against Aona or against other arcane spellcasters. So you get the distinct impression that she is with you, at least in that sense.
Got it. I think kind of feeling that, he continues briefly and just says, look, you have sacrificed a tremendous amount and risked a lot by coming with us. And I do not know that we have your trust yet, but for what it's worth, I know, at least to some degree, what it is that you feel and are going through. I can say this. For whatever reason, we all have been having these visions. There is something that is happening. And that we all be together, that we maybe be allied during this time, I think that that is a wise thing. And so, for what it's worth, I appreciate your company. Difficult as the circumstances around us all may be, I am glad that you're here with us.
As you say that, then she says, "Who eyes do you see through when you dream?"
For me, it is the one called Spritz, the red-headed fairy.
Oh, yes.
With the mouth.
You bitches, yes.
Yes,
Always
yes.
talking about the bitches.
He is very fond of this. I think maybe he has raised dogs at some point, or maybe has a hobby where he would like to raise dogs and breed them. I do not know. But, yes.
Well, okay, I've got one more. She's got one more question for you, Magram, and you can choose how you want to answer this, too. I think kind of just as a parting question as you are talking, getting the campfire ready. She says, "Do you still worship Iona?"
No. No,
Yeah, that's kind of a seriously personal question, G.
I, to be honest, I never really worshipped Iona. I joined a Krahanest in the university. We were aware of her. However, I would say that a lot of the motivations were more to gain power than they were out of allegiance to Iona. There were those who were acolytes who were allegiant to her. But I never really felt a strong affinity. After I left my service, I found Kelemfor, and there are things that he has said which resonate more strongly with me. If I may, allow me to share one. Death is but part of life. Fear it not, evade it not, and view it not as evil. To fear death delivers you into the hands of those who can bring death down upon you. Die with dignity, neither raging nor seeking to embrace undeath. Do honor to the dead, for their strivings in life brought Faerun to where it is now. And to forget them is to forget also where we are now, and why. So,
She says, "Wise words. Wise words."
I suppose there is room for many sources of wisdom.
Yes, I agree. As a parting, now this is actually a parting statement. As she gets up to go and get her bags ready and get her tent ready that she's going to sleep in, she just
You mean
kind of
G's tent?
No, I did not say that. She puts her hand on your shoulder and she says, "Do you find it strange that everything that happened in the dream, the first dream, happened in an old temple of Kelemvor, and here we have an acolyte of Kelemvor with us?" And then she kind of wanders off, and just you hear her say to herself, "What does it mean?" As she wanders away, and the night goes on, and a story is shared.
Hey, Paul, question for you real quick. Is Kelemvor one of the sanctioned deities, according to Iona?
Yes. Kelemvor is one of the sanctioned deities. Basically, Iona would be, if you want to talk the alignment scale, Iona would be lawful good, emphasis on the lawful. Iona does like structure, not like rigid, like military structure so much. That's not like a necessity to be a worshiper of Iona. But basically, if you're on that top left or anywhere kind of in that general area, then you are okay with Ionian worshippers.
I just wondering if there's any issues, as far as the history of Kelemvor, at least as far as it's like practiced and known. Kelemvor used to be a mortal, so I was wondering if that was any issue with Iona.
You guys can all make religion checks.
Guy got a 10.
Mogram got a 17.
Ornan got a 15.
Sylvie got a 16.
Yeah, anyone 15, 16, 17, you don't know of anything specific. I guess in your interactions with Aeonan worshippers, they do believe that their power is more important or more powerful, or like Iona is a more powerful deity than other deities. But really, if you are kind of on that top left section of alignment, as long as you're not using your powers to subjugate people or to get gain of yourself, that kind of thing, as long as you're not using those powers inappropriately to an Aeonan, everything should be just fine. Okay, that second night goes on as you are hearing the story of the fizzy knickers and the big Bomba, La Bamba.
I believe it was Fizzy Knickers Boom Boom Kabooms.
Boom, boom, kaboom. All right. The next morning, as you guys wake up, you wake up to the sight of Dainen patting the head of Butterscotch the goat, as Butterscotch the goat turns and heads back towards Redlam. And when she turns around, you guys are asking Dainen, like, what's up? And Dainen says, Butterscotch, she missed her boyfriend, Sir Bleats-a-lot. So she's on her way back to Redlam.
That's no ordinary goat.
And so for the rest of that day, when you guys are traveling and you're making good ground on horseback or whatever, Dainen actually shape changes, and she changes her shape into a deer, and she keeps up with you guys in that way. Yeah, so Butterscotch, great character, will no longer be in the episode.
I'm so glad you made a token for that character that was in for half an hour. We'll never come back again.
Super important.
I was like, maybe I should make maybe Butterscotch should stick around. No, but the whole point was, as you guys get to know Dainen more, you realize that Dainen, she moves forward, and with the very firm belief that nature will provide. And literally, as she was leaving Redlam, she saw a goat, and she spoke with animals, and Butterscotch offered to help. So she rode Butterscotch until Butterscotch could no longer help. And then if you ask her more, she's just like, nature will provide, right? That's how she approaches all of these situations. So
She smokes so much weed. She's so chill, dude.
You see, like, when she is in her dwarven form, she's constantly, like, picking berries and stuff and saving them. Well, actually, she hands each one of you a berry every day and says, keep this on hand. This can save your life. And you guys, each day, you have a good berry from her. So, she's watching out for you guys as well. On the third night, so the second full day of travel, but that third night, you are all sitting there listening to the very spooky story from Guy.
And it's all true.
When the story is over, Sylvie, on this trip, I imagine you and I have talked a little bit off mic about what you would be doing. You had said you would start to copy some of the scrolls that you had found into your spell book. And you and I also talked about that we didn't actually say this in the episode, but as you were leaving the Temple of Iona, you grabbed the spell book of that Navoran spellcaster.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so you have some spells to move over into your spell book so you can have access to them. I imagine you're probably doing something like that as Annelise approaches you. And she says, I see you studying your books at night. Why?
Sylvie's gonna snap shut the book, kind of hold it behind her and say, are you watching me at night?
No, you're by the fire. We're all by the fire. I'm not here to take your book. I'm not here to tell you that you can't do what you're doing. I just
want you to know that I think you're a sinner.
She says, I just wonder, why is it you seek the powers that you do? Are you fearful? Are you afraid? Do you seek power for yourself? What drives you towards this power?
I seek knowledge. Are you afraid? Are you afraid of people learning more and having power that you don't have access to? I'm not afraid.
She says, I am afraid of people who have power over others. I am afraid of people who seek that power for themselves and use it to subjugate those who do not have that power. Now, I have been given power. I have been given power by a higher power, one who is capable of making better choices than we are.
Well, that seems awfully convenient for you.
I did not choose this power. It came to me. But I accept that Aona sees something in me in a way that I can use this power she's given me to help others. And I guess, am I afraid of those who seek power for themselves? Yes, I am. Because what is guiding their use of that power?
I don't need Aona to tell me how to learn, how to have knowledge. I don't need her permission, and I don't need to be afraid of people learning and using these skills. They're just that, skills. And I want to learn as much as I can.
What spell are you working on right now, if you don't mind me asking?
It's called Nunya. Not that it matters, but the spell I'm currently working on is, well, it's gonna help me be a little bit stronger every morning. It's called Pahoftma armor.
She's going to make an insight check against you, and I want you to make an insight check against her.
Oofta, that was a 7.
Okay.
Flat 7.
All right. Yeah, basically, however you feel about this conversation, Sabrina, is how Sylvie feels about this conversation.
I don't know how to feel.
Okay, that's a perfect 7. As you are talking with Annelise, she stands up. She says, I don't mean to offend you. I am grateful that I get to travel with you, that we are on this mission together. I believe that the motivation for this mission might be different than you. However, I think that we are in agreement with what we need to do. And that is, we need to get more information about these dreams that tie us together and about what happened to the land during that event in the basement of the Temple of Kelimvor. And then she's going to ask you a question that she already asked Magram. She says, when you dream, whose eyes do you see through?
Oh, I see through Jib-Jab's eyes, the druid. We actually ran into them. I don't know if Guy told you that, but they were in the druid's grove.
Yes, I believe I heard Dainen speaking about following Jib-Jab, and that's why she is with us.
Well, I hope they're safe, because they're pretty cool.
As she stands up, she says, I'm pretty sure they killed a kid.
He had it coming. R.I.P. Badger.
No, what she says is, Sylvie, I'm happy to know you and I'm happy to travel with you. I just feel, and I won't say it again, but I feel I need to say it now, that this power that you seek, that you are gaining, I hope your motivation for seeking that power is enough to keep you from using that power towards an evil end. Have a good night. And then she moves off towards her own bedroll.
Sylvie is a little bit too young to want to be preached to, I think, but I do think she's going to take a lot of this into consideration for sure. But I don't think she takes very well to somebody coming in and telling her that she's wrong.
Yeah, I was really hoping you were going to say, I'm working on a spell called Fireball.
Oh no, Fireball was the first night. She did that first night, 4 hours in, she got, or I think it was like 6 hours, she's done with that. She was working on mage armor now.
Oh, gotcha. That's so funny. Oh yeah, and also Guy, have you been working on some of your spells as well?
Yeah, I'm doing Identify, and then I'm going to do, I know that you said, Sabrina, that Sylvie was going to do water breathing, so I'll take Tiny Hut.
Nice, cool.
And my tiny hut is a giant turtle shell.
I love it.
As far as the total amount of travel before we actually get into real time, just a heads up, we're still covering all the stuff that already happened. Once we get to real time, I figure you guys will have had about 16 hours total during your travels to do whatever spell work you can, and just remember to keep track of how much it costs as well. Okay, you guys move on into day number 3, and as you guys are moving through the day, you see that Dainen is in her dwarven form. She's not in a wild shape. As you guys are walking, she's having a little bit of a harder time keeping up because the horses have longer legs and she's got short, stubby legs. And that goes on for about 15 minutes. And I imagine one of you kind of will ask, do you want to ride or anything? And she just kind of waves you off. And then she says, my ride's almost here. And then out of the trees comes this beautiful kind of yellow and brown.
Oh my gosh, that's even better. Oh my gosh,
this yellow and brown.
That's incredible.
It almost looks like this giant chicken. But as you look at it, you see its beak is very, very sharp. This is this is a chocobo. No, this technically it's an axe beak. The brownish yellow bird comes out of the woods, and Dainen mounts up. She says something to this bird, quark quark, and the bird responds. And now she is traveling on this large flightless bird. Nature has once again provided for Dainen. You move throughout the day. The last person that Annelise needs to talk to is Ornan, and I imagine it happens as you guys are riding. She moves up next to you, Ornan, and she looks at you. She says, Ornan, I've been meaning to ask you, that night when you and I first met in the Temple of Aona, how did you change your face and your appearance that night?
Oh, that's just a trick that us deep gnomes can do. We're all just born with a little bit of magic inside of us.
Oh, so it's innate. It's something that is just a part of you.
Yeah, do you want to see something crazy? And Ornan starts ruffling his hair, and he pats his ears, and he starts tugging on his beard, and suddenly his face looks exactly like her face. Yep, I can do all sorts of crazy things.
She's fascinating. I did not realize that is so interesting. It's just something you were born with.
I didn't realize how beautiful I looked as an anime booby babe.
Don't change. I think I'm in love.
So, does this warrant me going on a pyre too? Because I can change my face?
No, I am not for the pyre, and I will be the first to admit that your folk who come from deep beneath the earth are unknown to us as a general rule here above in Via Severia. So I would reserve the pyre for only the most heinous of crimes. No, Ornan, I think that your ingrained magical talent, I think it must be a blessing of your people.
Interesting. Well, I've seen one too many burnings to sit idly by anymore.
She nods at that.
Why is his thing a blessing and mine is me being greedy? Maybe I'm just blessed with smarts.
Maybe she's born with it.
Maybe it's wizardry.
Hey, Ornan, make an insight check.
Ornan got a 16 insight.
Nothing new. You get the impression that she is on board with your stance on burnings. However, you also get the impression that you are also offending her beliefs in offending the Church of Aona itself. So her back is up a little bit as well. So you get that kind of two impressions. She does not like the burnings, but she also is an Aonan, and she does not like to hear ill being spoken of her religion.
That's all right. I used to worship Aona once upon a time, but I've gone back to praying to Keladuran Smoothhands again.
Keladuran Smoothhands. Let me make a
His
religion
hands
check.
are so smooth.
Oh,
He's the god of the lotion.
it's
If you
That's
know
way
what
cleaner than I was going to say.
Oh gosh. She said, I am unaware of Celadon Smooth Hands. Is that what you said?
No. Caladuran Smooth Hands.
Oh, Caladuran Smooth Hands.
Yep.
Is he a deity amongst your people?
Yes, he's a deep gnome deity. He's his church does a lot of things down there, and it's I've gone back to worshiping something from my own land.
Down there, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
with the lotion
But
and the soft hands.
They're so soft.
she says, but you did worship Iona.
Oh, for a time, yes. Yep.
I'm glad that you find peace with your god of the deep gnomes, and I hope you know that should you ever come back, Iona would accept you with open arms.
Oh, I think I doubt that. I think she would see me on a pyre. And if she stands idly by with all these other people burning, I don't know that I could ever follow her again.
Make another insight check.
I'm trying to poke the bear. Sorry, guys.
Not poke her. She needs to be poked a little bit.
It wouldn't be one of your characters if it didn't poke the bear.
Sorry. Inside of 20.
Speaking of which, Dainen has now changed into a black bear, so there's now a black bear riding on the chocobo.
Oh, dear. I really do have to poke the bear sometime. I mean, I did it in Baldur's Gate 3, so...
All right, so your insight score was?
I got a 20 insight. It was so dirty.
Well, yes, you see that your words have gotten to her a little bit. You tried to poke a little bit, and instead you end up getting a little and then a look of reflection as she walks away. Something about you asking or saying that Iona sits by as people burn. Something about that struck a nerve with her.
Like resonates with her or angered her?
Resonates is the wrong word as well. It was a point of pondering. It was something that sparked reflection.
She got confronted with something that didn't form in her worldview, and now she's got to go think about something else.
At some other point, she does ask you, though, whose eyes you see through.
Oh,
When you have the dreams.
well, I see through the little skull on the Kenku's hip. Although it's not a skull anymore, it's an outright skeleton walking all around. His name's Jingles, and he's the Kenku's little brother.
Did you say Jingles?
Yes, I did. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. That's so catchy. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I imagine Orn and you, whenever you say Jingles, you do get this, like, there's an old folk story about a dust shaman and his songs that he would sing. As you guys continue your travel now into the fourth full day, anyone who has traveled this route before will know that you will approach the town of Martin's Rest very shortly. We are now all caught up. Is there anything else anybody wanted to do before moving forward?
Another thing I would say to Annelise, not that first day, but over the course of these days as we're getting to know each other, I would introduce her to Prancival and let her know that Prancival is the dog from the temple. And what we were doing there was specifically, like, the reason why the dog was a distraction was so that we could scout out and try to release Evelyn without any bloodshed.
Okay, you've given her a lot to think on, but she's still here with you. One other thing, too, I forgot the last couple of nights, you did get responses back from Dilar as you spoke to him every night. The second night that you stopped, you get this response from Dilar. We had to stop at Whitaker Bend because a ship hit the rocks and sank. I think some people died. I'm okay, though.
Okay.
Guy, having traveled this river, you would know that Whitaker Bend is kind of 3 or 4 days further down the river from Martin's Rest. So it's like Martin's Rest, then 3 or 4 days to Whitaker Bend, and then 3 or 4 days to Miraloff. Whitaker Bend is nicknamed Widowmaker Bend, and it is hard to navigate the shallows because you can't see them, especially if the sun is starting to go down. The ships that are sailing through there, if they get there at dusk, they have to stop because it's just too risky to navigate at night. So it sounds like the Baron's fleet decided to try to run it, even though it was getting too dark, and they lost a ship.
And I just wanted to emphasize again that Guy is one hell of a seaman.
Nice.
Yes.
You just wanted to say seaman.
What? You got me.
Nice.
All right, and then on the third night, you do get another message from Dilar. I don't know what you're saying to him, but his responses back are just kind of like whatever's on his mind. He says, "We're leaving the ship behind. I guess no taxes were on it or something. I don't really understand. But 6 people died. Makes me sad."
I'm a little bit worried that Dilar might actually be a sociopath. I don't know why.
He did say it makes him sad.
Yeah, I would just be following up on these comments, just checking in. Are you safe? Have you had any flare-ups in your, magical itis?
Magical itis.
There's a cream for that. Oh my gosh.
I got a bad case of the itis.
Preparation POHOFTMA.
Oh,
that's
Sorry,
funny.
terrible. I know it's not funny. I'm sorry. It's terrible.
Plus it's POHA. FTMA.
Yes. Oh my gosh. All right. I'm getting docked
Aptitude,
points on
Paul. Aptitude.
I am
Seriously,
getting docked
dude.
points on the acronyms like crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You all travel now into the 4th day. At this point, Dainen is riding the Axebeak, the chocobo, the bird, as herself. As you start to see farmland as you get closer and closer to Martin's Rest. I want you guys all to make perception checks before we move any further. It is just a heads up. It has been raining and drizzly the whole time that you've been traveling. So mud puddles abound and the grass is all wet. Trees, the water's dripping off the trees like crazy.
Mornin got a 13.
Guy got a 16.
Sylvie got a 1. A nat 1 for a 1.
And Magram got a...
an 18.
All right, as you guys are approaching, Guy and Magram, you see, as it's not quite getting to dusk. It's kind of the earlier afternoon, but you see some campfire smoke or something coming up from like around the bend behind some trees as you guys are moving towards Martin's Rest.
I didn't see.
Neither did I.
I mean, I would convey that to everybody.
Is this abnormal to see this smoke?
With your perception checks, I think that you guys would recognize that it's abnormal because there is like farmland around. You guys are going through like a patch of kind of rougher ground, thickets of trees all over the place. So not necessarily prime farmland right here. So to see like the smoke, I just kind of your radar goes off a little bit that something might be up. Just something to be aware of.
Does it look particularly like black or smell bad or anything gnarly? Not that I would know. I don't know anything.
Sorry, the smell is me.
Your nose is in one of your books, I think, actually, as a matter of fact. So I don't think you even noticed the smoke.
Somebody's got to learn how to breathe underwater.
So I will say to everybody, be on your guard, everyone. We may run into some other travelers on the road. There's smoke where I didn't expect to find it.
As you guys continue down the road, you see other signs that there is something up ahead. You see that the grass along the side of the road has been beaten down in multiple places. You see multiple footsteps and mud that has been spread. You can see that it's like churned up. You can see that there are arrows sticking in the grass here and there. You find a sword tucked off into the bushes. Looks like it had been lost there or something. It looks like maybe there was some kind of a skirmish or a battle. Magram, as you are approaching around the road, as it kind of turns around a bend, you spot somebody is standing off the side of the road in the trees and has a bow in their hand as they call out to you and say, "Halt! Who goes there?"
We are travelers heading to Martin's Rest. I am a physician. We saw the smoke, and wanted to see if maybe I could be of assistance or see if there was anything that we could help with.
A man comes and steps out of the trees and steps up towards you. You also see another person come from the other side of the road. These are both wearing gambesons. You can see like pieces of actual armor. They're not armored well, but they're not like scraps of armor. If you were to guess, you would say that these are some kind of like local militia. They've got helmets, they got spears. One of the guys has a bow drawn at you. He says, "I'm sorry, there's been a skirmish here. You're not going to be able to pass unless you talk with Sir Fergus," and he says it's okay.
I mean, we're happy to speak with the Sir Fergus. If you don't mind me asking, who is the skirmish between?
He looks around and he says, "Well, I mean, we're from Martin's Rest. We came out here with some of the paladins of Helm chasing some bandits, and a fight ensued, and now we're just kind of cleaning up, but...
between the bandits and yourselves?
Yes. A bloody affair.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's fine. It's good. It's good. They've been wreaking havoc here in Martin's Rest, and we got a lot of them.
Well, I suppose that is a relief. Yes, would you be so kind as to lead the way towards the leader of this group?
Yeah, if you'll just follow me, and if you don't mind, just hands away from weapons, please. And then he starts moving up the road, and as you continue up the road, you see what can only be described as a war camp / aftermath of some kind of a battle. You can see that kind of on the north side of the road, wooden stakes have been stuck into the ground. They're probably about 6 or 7 feet tall. It looks like it's made this sort of temporary cage around this small thicket. It looks like it's a little depression in the ground. There is some muddy water that has flowed in there, and you can see that there are guards standing all around this staked off area. And you can see inside, as you move past, you see that there are a bunch of beaten and bedraggled looking commoners. You see men and women. You see a couple of them look in really bad shape, and it looks like these must be the bandits that the paladins of Helm were fighting. You can see that the guards who are standing around this ring of stakes, a lot of them are just militia. It looks like they're wearing their gambesons. They've got their pauldrons and maybe a helmet on. They're holding spears and shields. But these are basically your normal town guards. As you move further into this encampment, though, you start to spot the different followers of Helm. They are easy to recognize. They are wearing gleaming armor, polished armor. They have knightly helmets, some of them with big plumes on them. This is your classic knight in shining armor.
You can giant helmet with plume. That's right up Gee's alley.
Yeah, that's legit.
The only thing is that these paladins, these knights, these followers of Helm, they don't wear like a surcoat or a tabard or anything, because they just wear this polished armor. And you can see that there are quite a few of them. You can see that there are men and women in armor. Some of them are standing close to this wagon. It looks like they're collecting up some of the weapons and armor that they've taken off of these thugs. You can see there's probably like 15 or 20 militia, as well as the paladins of Helm. And off kind of on the south side of the road, you see that more stakes have been set up, but this is less of like a holding cell, and this is more like a defense system. You see there is a tent that has been pitched behind these stakes, a large tent, probably about 20 feet by 20 feet. Yeah, you know, yeah.
Pitching a large tent. I'm so lonely.
Out in front of this tent, you can see that there are other paladins of Helm. You can see that there is one who has her helmet off. She has this long golden hair with like this elaborate braid, with elaborate braid on the top. Anyone can guess who this token is made after? What prompt I gave the AI to give me this token?
Blonde Liv Tyler.
Nope.
Fantasy. Almost like Kate Blanchett. Is that the right one?
That's not Kate Blanchett.
She's pretty Kate Blanchett. Yeah, that was pretty good, I think.
She is pretty Kate Blanchett, but she's even more this person.
One of the Fanning sisters?
Nope. It is... I asked AI to give me medieval armor on Judy Greer.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay. I saw that.
Okay.
That actually was where my head was going.
Say goodbye to these.
Oh, really? Oh my god, it is!
So when you said spring break, I was like, actually, oh wait, never mind.
Oh my gosh.
I was gonna say, with all these knights in shining armor and also the local, peasant militia, Guy on his own, he looks like somewhat of like a knight in shining armor, but when he's compare him to these paladins of Helm, he looks more like one of the peasant soldiers who's trying to look fancy. The only real like new clean armor that he has is that the horse breastplate. Everything else is definitely older and used and antique.
For sure. Yeah, and your armor, I mean, because you have that new horse breastplate, it doesn't match the rest of the set either.
You're a traveling woods 7, but you're a paladin hero 3.
Yes, yes. You're a Cleveland 10, apparently. Sorry, Cleveland. I don't know that joke. Anyway, you see this woman. She is one of the paladins who's standing up there. She just stands out to you because she has her helmet off. And the other person there who has their helmet off, you see standing on the opposite side of the table in a kind of a position of authority. You see this dwarf is wearing this gleaming breastplate, polished to a high sheen, full armor. And on the table in front of him, you can see maps. You can see that there are different documents. He's pointing out different places as you guys approach. One of the other things that you see that there are like a couple of townsfolk or laborers who are helping to move some of the weapons and armor that are lying around after this battle and taking them over to the wagon to take back to Martin's Rest is what it looks like. But you move up to this table where these paladins of Helm are speaking. The person who first spotted you, he says, pardon me, Sir Fargus. These travelers were traveling through. I wanted to make sure that you gave them the okay to travel through onto Martin's Rest. I'd hate to accidentally let more bandits and ruffians through, but I figured best to ask you. And then the dwarf, he nods. He says, you did well to bring them to me. Right, you can head on back and make sure that we're not blindsided or attacked from behind. Yes, travelers, welcome. I am Sir Fargus Steelshod. We are Paladins of Helm from Martin's Rest. What brings you through this area?
We are just travelers passing through at this point. We were coming from Redlam and we saw the smoke and decided we would at least check in to make sure everyone was okay.
Have you been accosted along the road at all? These bandits, these ruffians have been harassing the good folk of Martin's Rest for months now.
Can we tell how long this camp has been set up? Like, I don't know much about how long it takes to put a bunch of spikes in the ground for a prison, but I imagine it wasn't just like this afternoon.
So it looks like some of these were pre-made, like it's almost like a barricade that you can bring with you to like fortify a camp. So just even without having to make a roll, it looks like this camp here may have been set up beforehand before the battle happened. It looks like the battle actually happened very recently, like within the last maybe 4 or 5 hours, and the camp may have been here for a couple of days before that.
Guy will say, no, we haven't had any trouble with bandits, but they were probably scared off by our guard dog. And Guy will point past the 2 riding dogs over to little Prancival who's sniffing around the tent.
He is quite terrifying.
Oh, adorable. Adorable.
This battle seems a little bit more organized than I would give bandits credit for. How many of them were there?
Well, there were at least 25. We managed to take 6 alive. Some of them escaped back into the woods, but they're attacking us from both sides. And that has me worried. They're more organized than most bandits you would expect. You guys would know, at least Guy would know, I guess Guy and Magram, anyone who's traveled through this area would know, Martin's Rest is the edge of Pithria Barony. When you guys left Redlam, you entered, quote, wilderness. But Pithria Barony is still anything on the west side of the river as it leaves Crimson Vale Lake. Martin's Rest technically is built on the east side of the river, but on the other side of the river, there is a smaller little village that is called South Bank, and basically both sides are Martin's Rest. You are still technically in Pithria Barony, but it is, I mean, you've got a river coming up very, very shortly, so to have bandits who are operating on both sides of the river, anyone without any kind of check would know that seems organized and potentially on a larger scale than you would expect from a group of bandits.
You say they're more organized. Is it more than just the attacks? Are there uniforms? Are they getting together into, I don't know how you call it in warfare, like battle lines?
Do they have little flags that they're flying? Do they have a war cry?
The blonde-haired woman speaks up and she says, "Oh no, they don't. They blend in with the locals, and it's hard for us to pick out who we can trust and who we can't. It's getting to the point where even walking through the streets of Martin's Rest, you don't know if the person next to you might very well be a bandit, might very well rob you."
I look over at Sylvie and scowl.
It's becoming a big problem. But we followers of Helm are sworn to defend those who can't defend themselves, and here we are.
What are these bandits doing that's so bad? Are they stealing from people?
Stealing, robbing, burgling,
larceny.
Many kinds of taking things that are not theirs, embezzlement.
Kicking stuff, stealing stuff.
Name calling? They're calling names.
The dwarf speaks back up. Sir Fargus speaks back up again.
They called me Sir Fartus.
Sir Fargus speaks back up again and he says, no, more than just thievery. There have been murders. There have been arsons. There have been, obviously, highwaymen holding up people traveling on this road. There have been farms that have been ransacked while the farmers were away. It is getting out of hand. So we are out here trying to put a stop to it, and as you can tell, we are succeeding.
Well, good job.
And how long exactly has this been going on?
The blonde-haired woman speaks up. It's been getting worse for the last few months. That's why we have taken the fight to them instead of waiting for them to come to us in Martin's Rest.
It sounds like you're doing a great job. We actually have some experience taking down organized crime ourselves, so I think we'll be okay on the road. You don't need to worry about protecting us.
Fargus says, well, normally I would say yes. I wouldn't expect anyone to attack this close to the city, but Martin's Rest is barely a mile further down the road. They are getting very, very brazen. Just travel safely. I will allow you to pass through unmolested. Thank you for speaking with us. And should you suspect anything, should you find anything out about these bandits or about if you feel unsafe or if you have been attacked, then go to the Temple of Helm and you'll find help there.
That's good to know.
Sounds reasonable to us. Is there anything that we can do for you?
He spots Annelise. Annelise, by the way, is not wearing her Anonan garb anymore.
Oh, dang it.
The only thing that even lets you know that she is a follower of Aona is that she does proudly display the flame amulet that she wears. That's basically like her only claim to following Aona. She's wearing like a what kind of armor is she
Well, she's
wearing?
not wearing her awesome nun's habit. That's a problem.
She left it in your tent last night.
She's actually wearing scale mail, and she has a shield strapped to her back as well. But she's got like a big thick cloak on to keep the rain off. He does ask for any help with any healing that anyone can potentially give. And Annelise says, of course, Aona would be proud to have me help anyone who is her ally in the fight against evil.
I have some training as well, and I'd be happy to assist. And I'll go with her.
And this dog over here is an emotional support animal for anyone who needs it.
A cuddle dog, please, please, Principal, come with me.
He prefers snuggle dog.
And my axe. Oh, sorry.
So Magram, you go with Annelise. Sir Fargus, he shows you into the tent behind him, and in there you can see there are 4 cots. 3 of them have like the militiamen in there who have been hurt. The fourth cot has one of these paladins of Helm who is laying there bandaged up and eyes closed, unconscious. So Annelise is going to use 2 of her spell slots to give some healing to 2 of these if you want to use 2 of your spell slots, or you can do whatever it is that you want to do, Magra. But she's going to leave 2 of them to you as she takes care of 2 of them.
Yeah, I'll do 2 first-level spell slots to use up some basic bandage and medical kits.
All right. Yeah. After a few minutes, you guys come back out. People are sleeping more restfully. Eyes fluttered open a couple times, and that's good because they were suffering from some of their wounds. Sir Fargus says, "Thank you so much. I appreciate it very much. Anyway, Martin's Rest is just a mile further down the road. I appreciate your help. Safe travels on your way to Martin's Rest. I'm sure that we may run into you there if you stick around long enough. We are going to be striking camp here shortly."
As we leave, can Sylvie kind of just walk by the prisoner camp and just kind of scope out what their state is?
Yes. Why don't you make a perception check?
Yeah, that went really well for me last time. Oh my god. That was a 1.
Is that your second natural 1 perception check again?
Oh, man.
Yes. So, looks in order to me.
Well, what you notice is that where they are holding these prisoners, it's a little bit of like a little gully or a ditch, and it has filled with mud and rainwater. And so you've got like 4 people they look like they're in okay shape, but they're just kind of a little roughed up. But they're sitting there with sour faces. And then you see that there are 2 people in there who are very injured. Not dead, not even necessarily dying, but they are unconscious. They are covered in blood, and these guards are just kind of standing around, leaving these prisoners to lie here in this muddy, swampy area as you guys move past. That is what you notice with your 1 perception.
Well, even I know that mud is not great for those wounds, but not much I can do about that, I guess, at the moment.
Don't you remember the story I told? Dust shamans are great healers.
Yeah, I don't think that was the moral we were supposed to take away.
I believed too, as part of that story, that it was the dust shaman was like, no, mud is bad. Water makes the dust not work as well.
That seems to be accurate as well, as far as I recall.
Yeah, there was a whole thing about mud.
Well, he was sprinkling dust on people, and they came back to life.
The blessed dust of Mother Earth, I believe, is what they called it.
Yep.
The teats of Mother
Well, it was
Earth.
my story.
Oh my gosh. You guys move now past this little battlefield, and after about a mile, you get back to the river. You've been walking along the river for the most part. This was a little part of the road where it goes away from the river and has to come down a more gradual slope to get down to the river, because the river is lined by cliffs at this portion. As you come up the road, you can see South Bank on this side of the road. The land opens up right here, right along the river, and you can see there is some farmland here. There are some fields with, looks like most of them have already been harvested. There's a couple things still sticking up. There's some like corn stalks that are up. You see some pumpkins. Classic October vegetables and gourds and things like that are currently being grown.
A maze made out of hay bales.
Yes, exactly. There's a big tractor tire for some reason. You guys approach South Bank, which is just probably about 15 or 20 houses on the southwest side of the river. So as you approach the river and Martin's Rest, down where the road meets the river, there is a long pier. It is a wooden pier, and there are these keel boats, these basically like barges that have like a cabin on the back, but it has like a big wide open deck. And these barges are they're designed to be like either pulled or rowed, or in some cases even sailed across the river, because on the far side of the river you can see Martin's Rest. Martin's Rest is not a large city, but it is a city. The first thing you notice is out in the middle of the river, there is an island, and the island has 4 large mansions or manors on it. One of them even has this private dock that comes off into the river, and that island is connected by a bridge not to South Bank, but to Martin's Rest on the east side of the river. Anyone who's traveled through here would know that to get to Martin's Rest, you have to hire somebody to ferry you across. On the other side, Martin's Rest, you can see their pier on their side is even longer. You can see that not just are there these keel boats, these barges that are tied up over on the far side, you see larger sailing ships that go up and down the river with trade. You can see that there are rowboats and fishermen. You can see that this part of the river is very well utilized. You can also see in Martin's Rest proper, you can see that there is a wooden wall that has been built all along the parts of the city that don't border on the river. It looks like Martin's Rest is also kind of built up on this natural hill, easier to defend. And you can see that there is this large fortified structure that is sort of right in the middle of the city. And you would know that that is the temple complex of Helm. There is a temple inside surrounded by this fortified wall. You would know that in order to continue on, this is the part of the trip where the road you're on crosses the river, and for the rest of the trip to Mirlov, you'll be traveling on the east side of the river instead of on the west side of the river. To get to Pithria, you would travel and go down to Mirlov, and then the road heads back up as it goes around through some marshland and through some swampland. This is the safest way to travel to Pithria. You approach here on South Bank, and you guys need to hire yourselves a keelboat.
Sounds like the kind of thing that someone with vehicles, parentheses, water, might be quite adept at procuring us a boat for that.
Would I know anybody here potentially, having, sailed up and down here and stopped here occasionally?
Why don't you make a... What kind of check would you make?
Friendship.
Friendship check.
Oh, friendship is magic.
So I'll make a spell attack roll.
Why don't you make let's have you make a persuasion check. If the person that you want to run into is a friend, if the person that you want to run into is maybe somebody that you have dirt on them, then why don't you make an intimidation check? And if the person that you want to run into is somebody that you have slept with, who thinks that you're somebody that you're not, make a deception check.
Oh, I thought you were going to say acrobatics.
I rolled a dirty 20 on deception.
With a dirty 20. Oh, 100%. You know somebody, and you actually know somebody who runs one of these barges. Let's see. I need to get... This is awesome. His name is Corwin. Corwin Frostborn.
I know someone here. I think I could get us on the boat. Just remember, he knows me as Wilhelm.
That is good, because we are Wilhelm and Associates.
That's right.
That's us.
We're sure working on getting our license.
Oh, that's what the WA in this token that represents us is.
Yes.
Look,
Did you not win?
I have been carving a sign for when we set up a shop somewhere, and it is like an awfully, talking Cub Scouts level carving that he has.
What language are you writing it in there, Magram?
I think it is common, maybe?
That does not look common.
I'll get back to you.
I've never seen a... Am I holding it sideways? I don't see the letters.
It almost looks a little infernal, doesn't it? I'll see if I can work on that.
All right. As you guys are having this conversation, Guy, you spot a very familiar keelboat. So the keelboats, they are shaped like a ship. So historically, when you think of the boats going up and down the Mississippi, like the pole boats and stuff, and you think they're more like a barge, like a squared off barge, this is still more of a ship shape, where it comes to a point in the front, but it is basically this large open deck with a little cabin on the back, and some of them have masts and some of them don't. But you spot one that you recognize, Guy. It is old, not rotted wood, but definitely worn down, but still still taken very good care of. Wood, you can see that the cabin that's on the back has been painted red and white stripes, and you would know that this is the barge of Corwin Frostborn. You can see that there is a man walking along the deck, winding up some rope. Why don't you describe Corwin Frostborn to us, Guy?
Okay, Corwin Frostborn is hairy, and
Okay.
Oh boy.
he's a large, hairy man, full beard. He's probably in his early 30s, sandy blonde hair, and he's got a big barrel chest that you can just lay your head on.
Okay, go to your Discord.
Me,
That's good.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see this guy.
Like somebody from Vikings.
Oh,
Yeah, there you
wow.
go. Like somebody from Vikings, but not one of the ripped Viking warriors. More like the big, strong guy, right? Not the lean
The
cut
guy who
dude.
cooks.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, and he does.
He, you see him winding up a rope, and he has not noticed you as you approach.
All right, I'll just say, let me do the talking. And I'll head up, like right up to him, and I'll just slap him on the ass.
He turns around with a fist, ready to deck whoever did that to him, and then turns around and sees you standing there, Guy. He looks at you and says, "Wilhelm!"
Shh. It's Guy now. It's Guy.
As you're trying to say that, he grabs you around the waist and gives you this big squeeze, and you try to say, "It's Guy now," and it comes out, "It's Guy now," as he squeezes you. And he sets you back down. Sorry, it's Guy now. He kind of looks around conspiratorially.
Wilhelm ran into some trouble, so it's Guy now. But yeah, how have you been, Corwin? You're looking good.
Looking so good.
As I
Thanks.
throw my finger in his hair.
All right. I imagine with your 20 deception that you rolled, that this guy, when he first saw you, like, he was happy to see you. Then you get this little glint of like, wait a minute, things didn't necessarily end great with us. And then you start twirling in his hair and like starting to do your flirty thing, and he is putty in your hands. Oh, well, Guy, I missed you. You just kind of, you disappeared, and I waited. I thought maybe you'd come back, and you didn't. But I guess you're back now.
For a brief stay, I lost my boat. They burned her.
How much of your history does Corwin know?
He doesn't know much. I was going to like try to pin it on the bandits.
Oh.
Apparently you've been having trouble here with bandits as well.
Yes, we have. And we have to be very careful who we're ferrying across the river. Apparently, if you go into town, you'll see that a couple of us farriers have... Farriers guys who just...
Horseshoes.
A couple of us ferrymen have gotten into some trouble with the Paladins of Helm for inadvertently ferrying some of these ruffians across the river. So we had to be very careful who we're helping across. And he kind of starts looking at all of you, and he gives you guys all the squinty eye. And I imagine you're kind of like, is he really checking? He goes, ah, ha, ha, and he puts his hand on Guy's shoulder, and he says, no, any friend of Guy is a friend of mine. Are you needing to go across?
Yeah, we'll be going across. Will you be frequenting the same bar we used to go to? What was it called again? I'll come up with a bar name.
Oh, I've got two of them already. He is since he's a ferryman, he would probably go to the North Side Inn. The North Side Inn is an inn that's it's like on the northern edge of the wharf in Martin's Rest, so on the east side of the river. And it's just a nice little place. It's quaint. It has like a balcony that you can sit at and like look out over the river as you take your dinner. It's smaller than the other place. The other place is called the Shield House. It's right there by the Fortress Chapel of Helm.
Okay.
But the Northside Inn is very close to a small shrine to Aona. So just a heads up there.
Okay. I'll say. Yeah, Northside Inn. I mean that makes sense. We could maybe get a drink and catch up later tonight. I think we're gonna resupply and head out first thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning? You just got here.
I'm on a mission.
How far down are you needing to go?
We're going to Mirlov and then back up through Pithria to Kladvina.
He says, well, I mean, if you're hiring, I mean, maybe I could get you as far down as Whitaker Bend.
Well, let's talk about it tonight.
I've heard they call that Widowmaker Bend.
You don't want to be going there at night. You got to be pulling over because it's hard to navigate. Well, all right. Well, why don't you load up on my boat? The Candy Cane. I don't know what the name of the boat is. It's red, white striped on the cabin, so the Candy Cane.
It's the Peppermint Mist.
Oh, yeah, I love that. I like that better, yeah. Why don't you load up on the Peppermint Mist, and I'll take you across to Martin's Rest, and then we'll meet up tonight at the Northside Inn. It sounds perfect. And then he helps you all load up your horses and your... now that you guys are into town, the Axebeak bows to Dainen and then runs off into the woods. And Dainen just kind of turns around and kind of shrugs. Yeah. I do miss the milk, though.
Wait, Axebeak milk?
No. The Axebeak, no. I miss the goat milk. I miss butterscotch.
But the eggs were delicious.
All right. You guys all load up onto the Peppermint Mist as you are a combination of rowed and pulled and sailed across. There are portions where the river gets kind of shallow, so he actually has this really long oar and he kind of pushes off the bottom. He doesn't actually sail across, but he does have a sail on his boat. So if there is a lot of wind, he can catch it and he can actually make better time. The good news is if you guys do decide to hire him to go to Whitaker Bend, you can actually get there instead of in 4 days. You could probably get there in 2 or 2.5 days. You can cut off a lot of travel, and you're going to have more downtime for things like, I don't know, scribing scrolls into spell books and things like that.
And completing my Sleep with Everybody run.
Nice.
Well, he takes you across the river.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to be locked on a boat with ye and this guy. It's too small of a space.
It is small. There's one small cabin on the back.
How did Annelise respond to all this?
She is hanging back, and she is keeping to herself. Why don't you, since you asked, why don't you make an insight or perception check, Ornan?
Ornan got a nat 1 for 4.
You just get the impression, you can't tell, you're pretty sure she's uncomfortable. You're pretty sure she's uncomfortable. With your natural 1, she seems uncomfortable with the situation, and that's about all you can glean.
Prude.
As you are going across the river, Peppermint Mist takes you not just across the river, but takes you by this large island in the middle of the river, and you get a closer look at some of these mansions. 3 of them are relatively good size, but it's the 4th one, the one that has that private dock, is quite large. It is not necessarily fortified, although it is made out of stone, and it looks like you could defend it if you needed to, but it's more of a mansion than a castle keep. But it is quite large. Again, there's a private dock hooked to the dock. You can see that there is this sailing ship. Looks like it is in immaculate condition. It is easily 30 feet larger than the Peppermint Mist. But you travel by there, and as you guys are traveling along past there, Corwin says, "Oh yeah, there's Martin's Manor. That's where the Count lives." And then he keeps moving past and taking you to the docks on the north side of the pier.
Would we know anything about the Count? Like, is the Count part of the barony system, or is this kind of like an unofficial, like, mayor type situation?
So, yeah, you would know. You would know because the barons run the baronies, but Martin's Rest is technically not in any barony. It answers basically directly to Mirlov. So the leader of Martin's Rest is not a baron, but he's also kind of higher up than a knight, like higher than like Sir Roland would have been. So it's kind of this in between, not the power of a baron, but higher ranking than a knight. And you only run into this just in a few places here close to Mirlov, where the only person that they have to answer to is the king themselves. As you guys pull across the river, you get to the north side, and you see the North Side Inn. you can see that it is built right along the river. Like the pier ends, and then the north side inn is right here. There is this deck that juts out about 10 or 12 feet over the river itself. You can see there are some small tables there. A few people are out there eating like a late lunch, early dinner. There's a stable right here that you guys can keep your mounts at. It looks like it's fairly empty at this point. If you go inside, though, you'll see there's actually a hog in there for some reason because I thought it was cute. As you approach, Guy, you remember staying here multiple times. There's a stage inside. There's multiple tables. The rooms upstairs are fairly nice. The rooms are pretty small, though. This is kind of a quaint little inn.
Sylvia, there's a place you can perform the flute if you'd like. And Annelise, nearby, very close by, there's actually a shrine to Aona that I thought you might be interested in.
She says, "Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I saw it from the river. I may go and say some prayers here in a little bit, but let's get settled first." You guys move into the North Side Inn. Getting rooms is easy enough. They're not very expensive. Basically, it's 5 silver per person for the night, as well as taking care of your horses. Are you guys going to share rooms? You guys going to each get a separate room? How do you guys want to do this?
I think he's going to need a separate room.
Yeah,
Please, a separate room on the opposite end of the inn.
I'd like my room to be free. I'll play the flute. See if I can negotiate that with the innkeep.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and make a persuasion check?
All right, come on, a good roll.
Wait, actually, wait. Persuasion or performance?
All right, well, that was a 13, so.
Okay. You know what? They say, I tell you what, you start bringing the patrons in tonight, and you got yourself a deal.
You got it, buddy.
Yeah, you guys all get your own separate rooms. I imagine you go take your bags up, put things away, get yourselves kind of situated, and you guys come down for dinner after a little while. As you guys come back down after getting all your stuff kind of put away in your rooms, you see there's a couple of people in here who are eating some food, and without even needing to make a perception check, you notice that there is a very finely dressed Tabaxi or Leonin man who is sitting at the bar. He has like a big, thick mane, very much lion-esque in his stature. He looks broad across the shoulders, and the first thing you notice is that his clothes are very nice. Nicer than anybody else here in the tavern, in the inn. It looks like he is... he's got a couple of drinks in front of him, and he is drinking what looks like a third bottle of something.
Margrim would walk up to him, and is there anybody kind of manning the bar, or is he just there?
No, there's somebody that it's not really busy hours, so there's somebody who's kind of like in and out of the kitchen, getting stuff ready, moving boxes and barrels and getting ready for the night stuff. So if you get to the bar, then what can I get you?
Yeah, could I get some spiced wine? Do you have any kind of mulled or warmed wine that I could get?
He kind of goes, yeah. Let me just get the stove going.
I turn over to that guy and I'm like, nothing warms the soul quite like a nice warmed spiced wine after having been outside for a while. Am I right, friend?
Yeah. You can see that he is kind of lost in thought. He turns around and looks at you and he goes, what? Oh, yes, yeah, I guess. You can tell he is troubled by something. Why don't you make an insight check as you start interacting with this Leonin man?
Absolutely. Oh, I got a 24 on insight.
This man is definitely troubled by something, but you also see, as he is drinking, you see him fidgeting with his hands. You can see he keeps like mumbling something under his breath, and you can see in his jaw clenched teeth. You detect this guy is pissed off about something.
I don't mean to pry, sir. I can tell that something perhaps has you a bit on edge. May I ask? I'm trying to make some friends here as I'm new to this area, but is there anything going on that I might be able to help with? Is there something that's been bothering you?
I heard there are bandits in the area.
He turns around and looks at you. He looks strong. He looks muscular, not in like powerlifter type strength, but like the kind of strength that you would expect from somebody who is, a fighter, who is a warrior of some kind, right? You recognize that lean muscle combined with that strength. of somebody who knows their way around a fight. As you ask him that, he turns to you and he kind of looks at you, kind of sizes you up, glances around the room and sees the other people who've come in with you. And he says, I'm sure you heard about the bandits in town.
Yeah, we ran into the Paladins of Helm and some of the soldiers after they had apparently had some sort of a skirmish themselves.
Inside of 24, you see him spit when you mention Paladins of Helm.
I take it you're not necessarily keen on the work that they've been doing on that front, huh?
It's not I don't appreciate that they are out there making things safe, but this is Martin's Rest, not Helm's Rest.
Is Martin a god?
No, Martin is the Count. Martin is my father. I'm Neldor Martin.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry, my lord, to have not shown you the appropriate courtesies.
No. It's fine.
I think he's called Count Junior.
He says, no, it's fine. I'm frustrated.
Have the Paladins of Helm been overstepping their role here?
Has your father been understepping his role?
He turns back to the bar and grabs a drink, and he says, it used to be when my father spoke that the militia would rise up. And now, Sir Fargus Steelshot, all he has to do is say we're going, and then the militia rises up and follows him. They're not supposed to follow him. They're supposed to follow my father. And you get, with your 24 insight, you also detect what he's not saying is, and when his father dies, they're supposed to follow Neldor. They're supposed to follow this guy.
Neldork, more like.
Have you considered a rebrand?
He says, I have a mind to go after those thieves and bandits myself. And he looks over at you. He's like, you look tough. You can tell he's been drinking, but not enough that he's like sloppy.
I've seen a little bit of battle.
You want to make some money?
Do I ever?
Do you want to work for the Martin family? Do you want to help me take the power back to where it belongs, to the rightfully appointed Count of Martin's Rest, and not these paladins who moved in, who are, he takes a breath,
Better in the community?
they overstep. You help me? Yeah, that's it. You help me bring these bandits to justice, and I'll pay you. I'll pay you.
You know, it's a tempting proposition. I would have to talk with my companions to make sure that they are on board with it, because it's not often that one of us does something without the participation of all four of us. 5 of us now.
6 of us?
He's drunk enough that he does not pick up on your sincerity, and he says, you drive a hard bargain. 10 gold bars, which you would know is 1,000 gold pieces.
And 20 if there's blood.
Yep, we always charge more if there's bleeding.
10 gold bars. You help me get rid of these bandits, and you have 10 gold bars. Think it over.
That's quite the offer. Yes, we can think it over. Where can we contact you? Where can we discuss this further?
I'm here, or I'm at my manor on the island.
Very well. Cheers to you, my lord, and thank you for the opportunity, and we'll be in touch very soon.
All right. And he kind of stands up and grabs a bottle as he's walking out of the inn. That is where we're going to stop for tonight. All right, you guys. Well, hey, it's so good to be back and playing with you guys again. Welcome to Martin's Rest. Welcome to the world outside of Pithria Barony. If you like what we're doing, go leave a review. Maybe I will read your really weird username on a podcast in the future. Also, don't forget we have more merch. We have the I Am a Pahaftma Are You shirt is now available. We have multiple purchases of that already. So go out and show your Pahaftma pride with the rest of us.
I'm looking at you, Fiscal Dave. I want to see you in a Pahaftma shirt.
I really want to see Fiscal Dave. I'm not going to lie. I want to see Fiscal I want to go on an AI generator and see what Fiscal Dave would look like. Anyway, until we get together next time, we hope you have a great time.